off of this support, make a deeper pullback, do some sort of liquidity grab, maybe up into like the 47.05s, possibly even to like the 47.25, where at that point price would still be pretty bearish from those highs right there, right? So we can easily still see some sort of like pullbacks, at least to retest these highs if we don't break these lows now, right? And so that way we can be on the lookout. If we do end up rejecting these highs, we can be on the lookout for some rejection plays and then further moves towards the downside. Excuse me. But that's what we would be on the lookout for. Let's look at and think that this, what's up, Elijah? I honestly wouldn't think that this report is going to be priced in because this is above expectations. This is 3.8. Everything is above the expectations. So that's the only thing I would say is we could get some pushback just based off the key areas that we're at. Right, and then going into those further sessions, we could potentially see further moves in our favor. But again, we want to stay prepared. So let's go ahead and just analyze the move. Let me go into this right here, or we can see that a little bit better. So we have, okay, we're on the wide angle. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. So we have, again, rejections. Very clear resistance at that area right there. You have, again, candle bodies closing below those 47.50s. You have wick rejections. You have more wick rejections right here at this 4 hour. And then look at this one, same thing. Price climbed above the area and look at that 4 hour candle close. So what is that telling you when you're looking at that in terms of price action? You know that there's buyers exhausting at that key area still. At that point, like I always say, when you're looking at those clues and you're looking for, let's say, buys, why are you going to sit there and force buys when price action is telling you to pretty much be careful, right? Manage your risk, okay? So you have multiple rejections at this area. You also have now these lows right here, right? You had this was sort of like, looks like a liquidity grab because price pretty much just, it did get below this area. You have one strong candle that closed below. At that point, you do have very strong bearish price action. And then you have exhaustion at those lows. And then look at that strong candle that ended up pushing back above that key area that you have there, right? So we know that this is an area of interest right here, right? These lows. Let me, I don't want to clear the screen. Let me just erase this. So this was more so like a liquidity grab, but the overall zone that we're still looking at is still this area right here around the 46, just a little bit above those 46.80s right there, right? That's what we're paying attention to. So that's why, although, like I was just explaining, although we have the economic calendar and we have the inflation report showing us that we do have higher inflation on all sides, again, we're still analyzing the market objectively because of the fact that price is at these areas of interest, right? Based off the price action right now, we're not getting any sort of strong signals. We want to see pushes below the area of interest. We want to see price getting below this area so that way we can prepare ourselves for deeper pullbacks. If we cannot get below these range lows, what is price likely to do? Well, what it's doing right now, we're still rejecting. We want to watch this area that it's approaching right now, which is sort of like a previous area of interest, but not really. It's sort of like in the middle of the range formation, but still on the 1 hour, you can see how price action sort of gets stuck within this area right here. Look at how price created this range here. It got a little bit stuck here. We did make a nice push above. We started to trend and then follow through with that rejection, which again, we already talked about that just now, which is what we saw, and then followed by a push back towards the downside there. So now this is the area that we're approaching. It's not a very key area, and I say it's not a strong key area because of the fact that we have, like, if we really mark off the zones, we want to make sure that we're aware of mostly the lows and the highs, which in this case, like I already marked for you guys, is going to be the lows here. So pretty much around these areas right here. And then I mark off this zone right here because it's this area of rejections that we have around right here, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we want to make sure that we'll pay attention to this area. And we know that if we can stay below here, I'm thinking we can see another push back into those lows, and then we'll be on the lookout for further pushes down. But if we start to break above this area, what would we have from a technical perspective? We would have price rejecting the lows, getting back above an area of interest, which is this zone right here. And if we're above here, based off price action, what have we done in the past? We've pushed towards the upside. We have that proof pretty much right here. What's this candle pushing above this area? We have, for example, this candle also getting above that zone. And then we can see price pretty much just ranged and stayed above this area of interest. Same thing here, another candle above this zone. We at least pushed into this area. That's what we're looking at, right? So same scenario right here. If we're trading above this area, what would we have? We would have rejection of the lows, climbing above resistance. At that point, from a technical perspective, probabilities is that price is going to do deeper pullbacks, at least, or most likely. I don't want to say at least, right? We don't want to make that too giddy here with price, but probably push into the similar area, just what price action did in the past, which is going to be those 47.25s area of inches, right? Right now, the pretty much price reaching this support and then sort of creating a little bit of a range, kind of like generating liquidity before. Right now, we pretty much rejected once more. We popped back into the upside, right? But we've seen in the past rejections. We have rejection here. Wow, what was that? There you go. So we have rejection right here, and then we have rejections right here, and then we have now price approaching that area. So let's see. We got 2 minutes until this 5-minute candle closes. We'll take a look at those lower time frames. Or actually, let me take a quick look at the 15. Yeah, the 15 just closed. 15 just closed, as you can see, kind of like very strong rejection off of those lows right here. We have about another 12 minutes, less than 12 minutes until the 4-hour candle closes at 9 in the morning. But looking at this on the 5 now, again, 1 minute and 30 seconds until this 5-minute candle closes. If we start to see 5-minute candles climbing above, then we could say that from a technical perspective, for the moment, price action is a little bit more on the bullish side. But vice versa, remember what we were looking out for. We have higher inflation, meaning that yields can climb as investors price in higher rates for longer. So if we do end up rejecting this area, pay attention to that. Pay attention to those rejections. If price action starts to exhaust here, as price could easily pretty much just make a move back down. And at that moment, it wouldn't be anything crazy, right? Like we've already seen that. We've already seen price pretty much staying within this area. Let me go back to this area. Again, we have rejections, rejection. This is what we're paying attention to right now. This is our focus point right here. We want to make sure, in terms from a technical perspective, now that we have, for example, like these highs marked off, and these, we can mark off these lows, anything above here is likely to push towards the upside. We need to get exhaustion at these highs if we're even going to think about price selling off, right? We need to get that exhaustion, and then we need to start breaking below these structure points on those lower time frames to really signal that price can at least go ahead and retest those lows right there. So we know that for the most part, market does follow economic data. Not precisely in the sense that as soon as the economic data comes out and that information suggests one thing, we know that price action is not going to just go that way. We've seen plenty of times, especially those with more experience trading during these events. We've seen plenty of times where price action will completely go against you for 1, 2, 3 hours, and then you stop trading. You're stressed out. You're thinking, damn, the markets are rigged. You're thinking that price action should have sold off. You leave. Maybe you took a loss and you're just upset. You come back and the market made a humongous drop following those fundamentals that you were looking at. But it happens at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. You can't control that. You can't control when the markets are going to make those moves. So all you can do really is sit here, react, and follow what the price action is telling you, just kind of like during the session. See the markings? Can you guys see whenever I have these things listed off. This is key right here in the sense that like price action is flowing towards the upside, right? Let's see. We're following price action. Price action is making higher high, higher low. We have this high that was created. Price action has now retested this low structure point on those lower time frames. We have an attempt to revisit the highs right here, right? Failure to do so. If we start to break back below here, I'm thinking we could see a move towards the downside, maybe mirror this right here and correct this move right there. Let's see. Once we start to break below these lows right here, that structure point. Strong volume coming in right there. So let's pay attention. Let's just pay attention to price action, see what ends up happening here. But yeah, we're getting some pretty strong moves there. Let me just erase this. You know what? Let me just erase it all. How about that? I'll just type it again. We have structure lows right here on the lower time frames. Nice. So right now we're climbing below. We're definitely seeing some volume coming in. Let's see if we're gonna mirror this in any sort of similar way, in the sense that you have very strong price action, like just following through on that, you know? Look at that volume that's coming in right there. Clean, clean. Let's go back here. Moves for sure. And some high risk sells at the 4707s. Nice. After 4-hour candle close, still in the range, targeting lows. Nah, yeah, that's good. I mean, right now we're getting a fairly decent move. Look at that. Damn. We're about to pretty much retest those lows. We're pretty much almost there. Those 4690s. This is right here. 4690s. These are 2 candles. These are large candles. This is how much this is measured, these candles. These are 50 pip candles right there. And so a good amount of volatility, or sorry, excuse me, volume. Not bad. But all right, so that's that. It's from 4707s. At this point, you're up. You're up more than a 1 to 2, in my opinion, right? Like if you took sells off of that area, let's measure that. Short position, 4707s. You have maybe a, stop loss above highs. And then, yeah, you're up more than 1 to 2 easily. Do you hold the full range and target your 1 to 3? Or do you manage your risk? Do you secure profits? Do you secure maybe 50%? I'm curious to know. I'm always going to ask you guys these questions, right? Not so much to copy you or have other people copy you guys, but we want to know more about that risk management. We want to pick each other's brain and understand different perspectives, different approach. You never know, man. You never know who you're helping. You never know who you're helping. You never know who's joining these sessions, who's going to be able to learn a thing or two by just, we all know that trading is, and it's not so much about aha moments, but those aha moments usually come from an accumulation of information, You don't just one day wake up and it's like, oh, figured it out. No, it's more so like that constant progression, right? Constant progression, following a strict process, understanding that process and following through on that. And then that's where you really gain that advantage on trading. Am I on the right angle? No, I'm not. We broke below the structure point that we had created here. We failed to revisit the highs. We exhausted at those highs. Now we're still, again, just kind of following through, seeing if we can actually go ahead and retest those lows, the 90s, 88s, 86s, right? Those areas that price looks like it's trying to reach, right? It's done so in the past, right? Like if it's rejected in the past, like right here, all right? You have the exhaustion, failure to continue above, and then you have the structure points start to get broken, which is like where you're following here. You have price action flowing, structure points on the lower time frames. Remember, these are the lower time frames. They get broken. Look how price action didn't get back above that structure point, and then you ended up making your move back down. So if we take that same information and move it to the current price action. Very similar thing, right? Like I showed you guys earlier. The move up, your highs, your structure point, the break below. So we have same preparation, climbing back above the structure point. It's likely to, continue higher, and then at least, get back here. At that point, it's very messy. At that point, if you see price action, say, reject these random lows here, and it starts to get back above these certain lower time frame structure points, you're stuck in a range. It's very messy. So what we want to see in terms of optimal price action is price action. Say we do pull back. Let's do a pullback here, retest this area of interest, but then overall we want to stay on that flow, right? It's literally the same thing that we were just looking at right here. We want to make sure that we stay, right? Again, structure points. We want to make sure we stay below the structure point on the lower time frame, which is what we're looking at, because we're analyzing price action during the session versus climbing back above and then, right? Same idea. You guys get the. Okay, so you had taken a loss before, and so you look to manage your risk. I mean, that's fair. Like, that's, in my opinion, that's smart, because at that point you're making sure, rather than you let's think about that thought process, or at least let me try and pick that, understand that you have a loss that you took. You're still trusting your plan. You still execute it. For the most part, we know that 1 to 2, maybe 3 trades, if you manage your risk correctly, if you're not risking too much. It's about the decent amount of times where you can look to trade, right? Not trading every day, but if you trade 2-3 times per week and you're taking 1 to 2 trades, maximum 3, right? All depending on price action and the risk. I would say that's a pretty smart approach, in the sense that you have already taken the trade, you took an early loss, you trusted your plan, you went for it again, you got paid, rather than you getting greedy and looking for a home run, maybe a 1 to 3 and higher. You manage your risk in the sense that you put stop loss at break even once you're up at 1 to 1. So at that point, you're risk free. And then once you're at 1 to 2, you've recovered your loss and you've made, I'm assuming, some profit for the day, and you're up for the day. So from the perspective that we're looking at right now, that's smart. That's smart because, again, you're making sure that you've recovered your loss and you've managed to get some profits from the market on a day that's difficult to trade, because we know